Jamy Catalyst here with a video for the S League, and today we are taking a look at the character creation menu of Greedfall. Taking a look at their character creation menu, their class system, and just all the different ways you can create a character for this new RPG. So obviously here we have the basics, facial structure. You don't really get to edit the body necessarily. Later in the game you do get to edit what you are wearing, but at the beginning you don't get to edit any of that. We just start off with the basics. We have appearance, we have skills. It's not gonna let me, I'm just gonna pick one. Skills, attributes, and talents. We're gonna go back and we're gonna repick those. So obviously, beginning, pick man, woman, and I'm gonna pick woman, because that's what I usually play. And then there's some decent looking presets. I've talked before about, because I am a huge RPG nerd when it comes to tabletop RPGs, whenever it comes to video game RPGs. I really love making in-depth characters. I believe whenever I started playing Dragon Age Inquisition, I probably worked for an hour on my first character, and then they still ended up looking terrible. As you can see here, we've got some pretty good looking presets. It's not as in-depth as I was originally hoping. Hair is also something that I will argue with people about for many hours, because I like having good hair options. And in most RPGs I've played, there's been a huge lack of good hair options, and I'm just gonna say, what is this? Don't smirk at me like that. I don't understand this haircut, and I'm never gonna use it. Even if I play this game over several times, I am not going to use this hair option. Ooh, let's do those blue piercing eyes. There we go. That, mwah, beautiful. Alright. So next thing we're going to talk about here is going to be the classes. And I don't know if you guys have heard yet, but this game is actually doing something that Dragon Age Origins, one of the last games that I've really played that's allowed me to do, is it's actually sort of an open skill tree. I think that's how they call it. We've got it up here. The skill tree is open, which will allow you to, yes, you are picking these classes at the beginning. So when you start the game, you have certain things available to you, but however, as you level up, you can actually pick anything. So you can start as a warrior with like no ability in magic, but as you level up, if you want to, you can level up into magic and use it. There's no limit whatsoever for what you can do, which in my opinion is the best way to do an RPG, because especially if you have a certain character in mind, because sometimes with very large, very in-depth RPGs, I will make a very in-depth character. Their backstory, their abilities, what they use, what they prefer, what they like, what they dislike, because that's what I do. For me, I like the idea, because I already knew whenever I started seeing these trailers, and I started to notice Greedfall more, and the S League decided, yeah, we're going to cover this game, I knew that I was going to end up playing a character. If I wanted to pick a class, I would start with something that uses blades, something with no magic, and then as we get to the island that we're going to, where magic is just inherently in the nature itself, as well as in the natives of the island, they would slowly start to side with the natives and slowly become a magic user. So I sort of already had that in mind, and I'm really happy that this game is going to allow me to be able to do that within my character. So we're just going to go over the classes real quick. So we have three very simple classes here. We have warrior, we have technical, and we have magic. And technical is actually pretty interesting to me, because this is the age where technology as a weapon is becoming more and more of what they use. So I find it very interesting that within this setting that we have a class that's actually what it is specifically about. This technology that they've developed, traps, guns, science, alchemy, is just all of what this class is about. And I could see making tons of different characters that is what they specialize in because they are a son or a daughter of science. That's what they very heavily believe in, is science. And I just find that incredibly interesting that there is a class that specifically, that is what it's all about. So we'll go over Warrior. Obviously, it's what you expect it to be. Starting skills, one-handed heavy weapons, one-handed blades, firearms. Then recommended attributes, strength, endurance, recommended talents, craftsmanship, vigor. And this profile focuses on melee combat. And then the technical. This profile focuses on controlling the battlefield, not only with technology, but with strategy, which I believe is also something really interesting because this is something they talked about in one of the trailers, with traps, with agility, with lockpicking, if you wanted to go the stealth route, because you cannot attack groups of people head on without it having a consequence. Whether that means that group of people will no longer like you. If you've ever played Fallout New Vegas, if you remember, there was a status with different groups of people, where depending on how you treated those people or what you did with those people, you would lose reputation with them or gain reputation with them. And that is within this game as well. So if you wanted to go the stealth route, the technical route would be better for you. For wanting to go around those enemies, do quests without letting those enemies know you are there, so that you do not lose any reputation with them. Let's see, focusing the battlefield strategy, starting skills, sudden elemental trap, firearms, one-handed blades, recommended attributes, accuracy, agility, recommended talents, science, and lockpicking. Alright, and then magic. Once again, pretty obvious. Okay, so with magic, this profile focuses on the use of offensive spells from a distance. Starting skills, divine magic rings, stasis, one-handed heavy weapons, and I have heard stasis is definitely a really nice starting skill because it allows you to sort of pause an enemy of your choice, put them in stasis, lock them down, and taking the time to either put some damage on them while they are in stasis, or take out other enemies while they are in stasis. And that would definitely be a handy starting skill, especially if you were already planning to use magic. Recommended attributes for this: mental power, willpower, recommended talents, science, and intuition. I also find it really interesting that they also recommend you what would best fit with this type of class. What would best fit with trying to use magic, with trying to be technical, with trying to be a warrior. I like that it recommends you, but I like that it recommends you and it doesn't force you. It gives you the choice. Hey, this would be a good fit, but it's up to you. I like that. Choice is important in RPGs. At least in my opinion, choice is very important. Alright, so this is the attributes. These are also pretty simple, and you only get 1 point for both attributes and talents at the very beginning of the game. You don't get another point until level 4, so you need to pick something that you think is going to help you the most. We'll go over, so most of these, once again, pretty obvious. Strength increases your power of melee attacks. Attributes required to wield the best one-handed, two-handed blunt weapons. Stun, armor damage. We have agility, increases fury generation, all damage inflicted in melee combat. And real quick, I'll go over fury generation. So fury is something that whenever you allow it to build up, you can use it and it will give you access to different types of attacks. And those attacks will be more powerful than your normal attacks. So fury can be pretty helpful. So for it to generate quicker means that you're going to have the ability to use that faster and use it multiple times in a battle. Mental power increases... Oh wait, we didn't go over all of that. Attributes required to wield the best one in two-handed weapons. Physical damage, fury regen. Mental power, we have increases the power of all spells. Attributes required to wear the best rings. Magical damage, fury gen. So, and with their magic, you can make your magic better and more powerful with different enchanted items. And which is why it's talking about the best rings. We've got rings and necklaces. And that's something you find later on in the game. If you're lucky, at the beginning of the game, there are a lot of hidden loot around the first area. So maybe you'll find some hidden loot. If so, good for you. I haven't yet. We'll see. So, yeah, mental power is what you would expect. It's definitely mainly for magic casters. Willpower increases maximum MP and spell duration. Attributes required to wear the best amulets and necklaces. Magic points, effective duration. So this is another attribute that's going to be really good for any of you magic users out there. Accuracy level increases the power of all firearms and alchemical preparations. Attribute required to wield the best firearms. And this one is definitely makes more sense on the technical, because the technical, it seems to me, are going to be more of gun users and bomb users, because it's, you know, the technological side. So definitely makes sense for that to be an attribute mainly for the technical. Doesn't mean anybody else can't wield it, because everybody can use firearms, and everybody can make alchemical ingredients and bombs and things like that. It will just be harder if you don't have that skill in that attribute in particular to make those things. You won't be able to make them as well. And then endurance increases maximum life and balance. Attribute required to wear the heaviest armor. Life points 100, balance 20%. So this is going to be increases your HP right off the bat. And this is what I will usually go with whenever I create a character, just because I feel better having more HP right out the gate. And that might not be maybe the wisest choice, but sometimes I will pick things that I feel would fit a character better than would make the game easier. Alright, and these are going to be talents. So these are going to be like skills. They're going to be stuff that you are capable of doing instead of stuff that can bolster what you do in combat or what you do in general. So these are going to be all new abilities. So we have Charisma. Obvious. Slightly reduces merchants' prices. Slightly improves your companions' combat abilities. Slightly increases the chance of success of some dialogue choices. I know with Charisma, I just find it funny that it's improves your companion's combat abilities. So I just imagine my character off the side with like little flags being a cheerleader. Go! Fight! Science allows you to make single potions, allows you to destroy weak walls with the help of explosive vials. So once again, this talent is definitely the one you would want to pick for a technical route. It allows you to make something sort of similar to bombs, as I was talking about, and allows you to make potions, which is really helpful. Next is going to be lockpicking, and usually this would be another first option for me. If I was playing a rogue character, I would definitely pick lockpicking. And this is another thing that's going to be, if you want to sneak around, if you don't want to deal with people head on, that's what you should pick. Definitely 100%. Because it's going to let you get into areas that you would not be able to get into previously. Let's see. Also, it also allows you to see enemy traps easier, which would also be pretty helpful. Intuition. Gathering sites become easier to see. Slightly increases the number of ingredients and objects obtained through gathering and looting. Unlock contextual dialogue options. Craftsmanship allows you to craft basic weapons and armor upgrades. This would also be pretty helpful. Not really the best thing to pick for the beginning of the game. You'll be able to craft stuff later, and you won't even have the items you need to craft anything at the beginning of the game anyway. So I wouldn't recommend that for the beginning. Vigor. Vigor would be another good one for the beginning of the game, actually. Vigor lets you pass through certain difficult passages that require balance, increase the maximum ammo capacity, and lets you slightly recover HP and magic outside of combat. So, as long as you are outside of combat, you can get some of that HP up, some of that magic back up. That would be super helpful. And it allows you to get to places that you're not going to be able to get otherwise. Because without Vigor, there's going to be several places that you cannot get because you cannot go through those passages or balance on those beams. So that would be another really helpful one for the beginning. But I'm going to pick Charisma, mainly because it suits this character. And I actually have already played a little bit with a character that started with Charisma, and it's actually already helped me in a certain situation. So that's the guide on the character creation, guys. I hope that was helpful to you in any way. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys will continue to check out all the videos I and Ash and anyone else in the Triple S League will be doing over Greedfall.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.
Rotate.